Hello and welcome to this edition of the Pulse Pod on tour. We're going to Sutton United away. It is Saturday the 8th of February and the weather is absolutely terrible. It's been terrible in London for the last 2 days and the away area at Sutton, so I've read, is uncovered standing, which is going to be a delight for everyone making the journey down from the northeast today. This will be a different episode for many reasons, first of which being I'm not using my microphone for obvious reasons. It's the dictaphone rather than the microphone today, and it will be mainly improvised as well. If it's just me, so be it. Hopefully some other people in the ground will be happy to chat on record, and hopefully we'll see a good result today. I'm currently on a train going from Farringdon up to West Sutton, which is near where Gander Green Lane is. It's about a 7-minute walk, so Google Maps tells me. If you can hear any rumbling in the background, that's just the train. And by the way, if anyone ever tells you that the trains in south are worse than the north, just point at the north. Honestly, it's the amount of trains I've seen coming past on platforms in London since I've been here on Thursdays has been ridiculous. The amount of trains they get per 5 minutes, they have no right to complain there. On to the game itself. We have a terrible record at Sutton, as we've discussed on the podcast previously. We haven't yet won there, ever. It's been a dismal place to go. Recently it's picked up slightly. There's been a couple of draws in there, but we still haven't beaten them away from home since first facing them when we first came into the National League. Hopefully it'll improve today. They do, of course, no longer have the plastic pitch or the artificial pitch for the technical term. Hopefully, as I say, it will get better today with Anthony Limbrick now in charge of the club. We're here at Sutton. The weather's eased off slightly. It's not as bad as it was in central London. It's still very grey, it's spitting. The players are currently out for the warm-ups. A very odd team selection, as a lot of people will have seen. It looks like Jack Hunter's at centre-back, as the ball just rolls past me there. It's an odd selection, given that Billy Sass-Davies is still on the bench. It could go one or two ways. Either Anthony Limbrick is a genius in his first game, or it could go horribly wrong and we all go back with our tail between our legs. Either way, we'll see. It's strange, but who knows? It could well be a back three or a back five, as another ball flies past me there, with wing backs. It could be Dan Dodds and Rhys Cleary as right wing back, left wing back, and then the back three of Hunter, Waterfall and Ferguson. I think that's probably more likely than going with a straight back four. There isn't much pace in the back two of Hunter and Waterfall. I think realistically it would be a huge risk to play Hunter as a centre back outright without putting him in a back three. We'll have to wait and see. Well, while Amy is playing in the background, a lot better of a song choice than the last one they played. Sutton have not lost at home in the league since December the 21st. They've won the last three, including a victory against York at the York Community Stadium. Very impressive. As we've mentioned before, and I'll keep saying it, we have a dreadful record here, so we'll have to overcome the odds to get anything from this game. Should point out they did lose to the West Ham youth team in the National League Cup, but of course that is a cup that no one cares about, so the players just coming round giving a round of applause to the fans who have travelled. A nice touch from them, being applauded in kind by those who have travelled from the northeast and elsewhere today. I know the southeast police are here somewhere. Decent song choice again there. Everyone making their way off the pitch. It's 13 minutes to 3, so we aren't long to kick off now. Mentioned earlier on in the ramble as well, it was uncovered standing. There is uncovered terracing to our right, but we're along the touchline and we are undercover, which is a good thing as if it rains. Hopefully it stays away for the time being and we can have a decent match without those conditions, shall we say. 4 minutes from kick-off, I never thought I'd hear the Undertaker's theme tune from WWE played at a football match. Can't complain. Good choice. Looks like the players are at the edge of the tunnel, so we'll be getting underway shortly. Well, it's half-time at Gander Green Lane, 0-0. It's been a half of very few clear-cut chances where the ball has been at a player's feet and he's opted to shoot. Rhys Cleary's probably been the best of the attacking forces for Pools on this left-hand side. He's playing as a left wing-back, as predicted before the game, with Hunter, Waterfall and Ferguson as the back three. It's been solid. It can't really fault any of the players in particular. They've been a fairly good unit. They've looked decent going forward. There was one in particular where there was a very fluid counter-attack and Medine laid it into Rhys Cleary on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, he slipped as he took the shot and it was comfortable for the goalkeeper. There's been some threat from set pieces, which is something that we haven't said regularly about Hartlepool United. Waterfall has basically headed everything that has come his way, give him full credit for that. He's reverted, I would say, to the Waterfall of the end of last season when he first came in, and he was heading everything like a brick. It was excellent. All in all, it's a game with promise. It's a game where we could easily change it in the second half. Miley, Follerin and Charman are very good options off the bench if we need them. We can still go to a back four. If Hunter is replaced by Sass Davies, that could become a back four with Dodds, Sass Davies, Waterfall and Ferguson. But all in all, a good first half, and hopefully there's more to come in the second. Full time at Gander Green Lane. It is Sutton United 1, Hartlepool United 2. Other than the early goal in the second half for Sutton, scored within the first minute, it was probably Pool's game to win. It was a shaky 20-minute period, I think, at the start of the second half, it's fair to say. Once that goal went in, they were very shaky in possession. Sutton looked the better side. But other than that, Pools thoroughly deserved the 3 points and the victory. A hint of offside about Gary Medine's equaliser. Anthony Limbrick there coming over to the fans and applauding. A nice touch from the new manager. And yeah, the hint of offside about Gary Medine's equaliser. The Sutton fans were not best pleased. However, it stood, and the second goal, after a few very good chances, cleared off the line. There was a good save, good double save I should say as well. It was an own goal that settled it in the end, a flick on from a set piece, and I think in reflection it's no more than Pools deserve. I think they were the better side during the game, and hopefully this can propel the club forward. As I mentioned earlier on, it's the first time that Sutton have lost since the 21st of December, the home defeat by Tamworth. Walking back to the train station from the ground, a few points I think it's fair to mention. Waterfall, excellent throughout. He headed everything that came his way, very rarely lost a duel, whether on the ground or aerially. Rhys Cleary, excellent again. He, specifically in the first half, he was running at his defender. It was a one-sided one-on-one in which the full-back just didn't know how to cope with him. He kept running for the byline, he took his men on, he was very direct, and he didn't know how to handle it, the full-back. It was a very good performance from that point of view. Looking into the midfield, this podcast will forever be the Nathan Sherrin fan club for as long as he's at the club. He started yet again today, and he's very tidy in midfield, I think. Adam Smith in goal. To be fair, I think other than the goal, the shots that he faced were fairly comfortable for him. I think it wasn't too much he had to do other than the goal, other than mop up a few fairly easy efforts on target for him. Manny Desirue, the effort's there. I think he just needs to provide that extra finishing touch, if you like, to get back to his goal scoring form from earlier on in the season. Gary Medine oozes quality, oozes class. He is an excellent player. You can see why he's played in the higher leagues, and he's still got that touch of quality in his play as well. Sam Follerin, a very promising appearance off the bench, I would say, on that right-hand side. He had that final chance with what was pretty much the last play of the game, where he touched it past the on-rushing keeper. The pace that he's got will provide him with chances either way. And full credit to Anthony Limbrick as well. His first game in charge of Pools, and his in-game tactics were spot on. You can't, God knows where he said it at half-time, to be fair, given what happened within a minute. But his in-game tactics, his in-game substitutions were excellent. He knew we needed the goal. He brought on attacking subs, and once we went 2-1 up, shut up shop, brought on the defensive cover, and it worked to perfection. And it's our first victory at Sutton. It's our first double as well, of course, over Sutton, given that we beat them earlier on in the season. Fingers crossed we can knock on from here. It's Tuesday afternoon. I got back from London yesterday, and we are looking forward to the game later on tonight against Tamworth at the Prestige Group Stadium. It's an important week for the club. It's 3 home games in a week. We've got Tamworth tonight, Maidenhead on Saturday, and Altrincham next Tuesday. And we have an away game against Aldershot a week on Saturday. Those 4 games, really, the club need at least 10 points. And I'd argue that we really need to win all 4 to maintain any semblance of a promotion push by the playoffs, of course. I think we can all, even the most optimistic Pools fan would agree, the top spot is out of the equation at this moment in time. But it's not unachievable to get into the playoffs. I think before the weekend, people rightly were very despondent about the idea of getting into the playoffs. But given the performance on Saturday, given the optimism that surrounds the team at the moment, certainly coming away from the ground, the general feeling was that we can go places with Anthony Limbrick. His changes, as I've mentioned in the ramble, were spot on. I think the one in particular that provided the thrust to go forward was bringing Luke Charman on in place of Jack Hunter. He pushed Daniel Dodds back into the back 3, which provided a bit of extra defensive solidity, but the main thing that it did was put an attacking player on the right-hand side in Luke Charman, who was able to drive forward, and that really did change the game. He was excellent, he was direct, he provided the counter to Cleary on the left-hand side until Cleary came off later on in the game. And I said that there was a hint of offside about Gary Madine's goal. I've seen it back, it doesn't look offside at all. I think the full-back on the far side is keeping him on. Again, that touch of class that he brings to the side could well prove pivotal in a potential playoff push. He just always seems to be in the 6-yard box, which, as a striker, is exactly what you need from... Well, as fans, it's exactly what you need from a striker, I should say. He's always there, he's always available, and he seems to know the correct type of finish to apply, which is crucial for a striker. Instead of just leathering it at the keeper all of the time and hoping for the best, which some players, certainly in a high division, do. We've seen it in the Premier League this season, if anyone has seen that. A word, too, for the set-piece deliveries on Saturday. They were excellent all game, from the left and from the right. David Ferguson in particular putting in some excellent deliveries right into the danger area. It's always a help. It sounds obvious to say, but when the deliveries are in the right area, even if you don't win the headers, even if they get cleared, as you will find during the game, the fact they're always in the right area will always give the opposition something to think about. And in the end, that's where the winner came from. The own goal wouldn't have happened without the delivery being in the correct area, so full credit to Fergie for that. And hopefully we can carry that on for the rest of the season. It's not something we've said about Pools a lot in recent seasons in terms of set-piece threat. It's another avenue for us to go down. We've got height now, which is not something that we've said in previous seasons. We've got the likes of Waterfall and Parks when he returns. You know, the likes of Gary Madine, Manny Desirou way up front. These are tall players who should be able to win a header. And it's another way for us to get through to the goal. And just on the subject of Tom Parks as well, before the game, I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one who thought that is a huge miss. In the starting 11, he's been one of the best players that we've had this season. I don't think that's up for debate, really, alongside Nathan Sherrin. And in the end, we didn't really miss him, and that's not a detriment to Tom Parks at all. It's just we performed very, very well, and that's credit to the side that were out there in that we didn't seem to miss him. And A special mention as well for Jack Hunter. He was forced into a position that he doesn't play. He's stepped up to the mark, if you like. He provided a suitable performance. He didn't really look out of place, didn't really do too much wrong during the game. He was subbed more to bring on Luke Charman than to take him off and provide that tactical change, if you like. But full credit to him and to everyone else for the performance on Saturday. So, to sign off from the first Pools Pod on tour, it is a little bit after Saturday now, but just as a sign off, an excellent game, an excellent day. Sutton, very gracious hosts as well. A tidy little non-league ground, hopefully, and no disrespect to Sutton, we won't have to play there too much longer if we manage to get out of the division at some point in the near future. It's all speed ahead now, and we need to carry on. If Anthony Limbrick can prove his credentials in the next week or so, get maximum points from these games, then the sky's the limit for the players. If you look ahead of the next week, the next, say, 11 days or so, York at home is a huge game. I don't think many people will be expecting us to win that one. Any positive result there is excellent. Eastleigh away, Solihull at home, Boston at home. They're all winnable games. We can keep the momentum up into the end of the season. Who knows what we might achieve. So for the time being, this is the end of the ramble. Hopefully people have enjoyed it. And if I do get 20 more away games this season, I may look to do this again if it's of any interest to anyone to hear me ramble on for however long this has been. Thank you very much for listening if you have, and we'll hopefully be bringing you another episode later on this week. Thank you very much, everyone.